The second the leaves start changing, everyone suddenly has a personality based on their coffee order. Pumpkin spice girlies, apple orchard enthusiasts, spooky queens. We've all got a reputation this season. Today we're chatting pumpkins, parties, and assumptions, the fun, the cozy, and the slightly ridiculous things people assume about us once fall hits. Welcome back to She's Probably Talking to Other Guys. I'm your host, Annie from the Banannie Diaries. If you're watching this with a video, yes, I am going for a brunette Dolly Parton for Halloween because today's episode we're discussing fall, coffee orders, Halloween costumes. We're talking all things fall today. Just a friendly reminder, I am not a therapist, psychologist, or expert in human behavior. Everything shared here is based on personal experience, opinions, and a lot of conversations over coffee with friends. If you're struggling with something deeper, I always recommend seeking professional help in chatting with a licensed professional. This is a judgment-free, assumption-checking zone, so take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Before we get into today's episode, let's do a quick recap of the last episode. Last episode was number 13, Posts, Platforms, and Perceptions. I went through different social media platforms and we really dove into, first of all, my thoughts on them and some common assumptions that the internet makes about how the apps function or what these silly assumptions that people make about the people who use those specific apps. So tune into that episode where we talked all things social media and social media platforms. The first portion of today's episode is fall drinks and the pumpkin spice identity crisis. I feel like there's always this excitement about fall beginning, and then like the common coffee chains, Starbucks and Dunkin', announce the days they're going to be releasing the pumpkin spice and their fall themed menu. And then suddenly all of the pumpkin spice girlies start appearing and talking about how excited they are for their pumpkin spice lattes. I am excited about coffee and caffeine every single day of my life. It doesn't need to be flavored for me to be excited about it, but I am definitely always down for trying a new coffee, I would say, even though I tend to always fall back into my usual routines and my usual orders. But don't hate me for saying this. I am not a pumpkin spice girl. Pumpkin is okay. I would eat it if it was like mixed into something else. I am just not really that big on pumpkin spice coffee. I did dabble in the apple crisp one when it first came out from Starbucks, but then I don't know. Again, like I always do, I tend to go back to my usual drink orders. So I guess it's safe to say that this fall so far, I have not actually tried a fall themed beverage. Have I? Wait, I think, no, that was a breakfast sandwich. And it was like a maple sausage egg thing. It was okay. But again, I'm not really your girl for being crazy excited about fall beverages. I'm sorry, I still love you even if you do love your pumpkin spice latte. I don't judge you based on your coffee order. I'm giving you like a little heart symbol if you're watching this with the video. Full disclosure, I just searched for some common assumptions and these actually have me cracking up because these ones are very, very specific and very detailed about the assumptions. But I want to know, so comment what your favorite drink is. Comment if you're a pumpkin spice, if you love a chai latte, if you're down for an apple flavored drink. I want to know what you like to drink and if you're more of like a regular everyday menu kind of person, comment that too because I want to know. And maybe you could persuade me to try something new. I'm not sure. I guess we'd have to say like time will tell on that one. I don't know 100% if I would try a new one or not. But fall is still going strong, so there is still time for someone to convince me to try a fall themed beverage. An assumption from the internet, not from me, about pumpkin spice. So if you love pumpkin spice, you automatically have a matching flannel, white boots, and a golden retriever named Maple. Maple is a really cute name for a dog. I feel like I know a dog named Maple, but off the top of my head, I cannot think of where I met this dog. I could vibe with cinnamon in my coffee. I've done cinnamon powder in my coffee before, so I feel like that would be my taste of fall going into my coffee drinks, would just be adding some cinnamon powder. I don't know that I could handle nutmeg or like other pumpkin-y spices going into my coffee, but from like the opposite assumption, the assumption is if you don't like pumpkin spice, people act like you're boring. How could you? I don't think this outfit's very boring. There's an assumption about chai latte lovers that you read poetry in coffee shops and probably have your life together, or at least it looks that way on Instagram. The assumption about apple flavored drinks, right? So, apple cider, we can include the Starbucks apple drink as well. I can't even think of what it's called right now. So, apple cider drinkers are whimsical. They probably own a picnic basket and say things like, "Oh, I just adore crisp mornings." I changed my voice because I was reading like a little quote there, but anyway, don't judge me. So, I do know one person. Jessie loves a good apple cider. She was on here a few weeks ago, and I think that, based on her social accounts, whimsical would be a word that we could use to describe Jessie. So maybe not everybody who dabbles in the apple flavored beverages are whimsical, but she is definitely like proving this assumption right now because she is a very whimsical human and I love her. Regardless of your favorite beverage, I am not judging you. Enjoy it, sip it as you please, do what makes you happy. Portion 2 is fall food and comfort core energy. Okay, we're going to some equally like as strange and funny and quirky assumptions that were in the first portion about the drinks. People assume if you bake apple crisp, you're a nurturing soul who wears sweaters that somehow always smell like vanilla. What in the world? I told you in a previous episode, I don't like to really read through these too deeply when I am organizing my episode because I like a genuine reaction from me, and I don't know, this is so quirky. This is cracking me up. So the first thing that made me think of was my best friend, because my best friend is obsessed with the scent of vanilla. She's so funny. She loves spraying vanilla because she says that vanilla is a scent that attracts men. I have literally no idea if that's true or not. That's something that my best friend has always said. I don't know. That just came into my mind when it said somehow always smell like vanilla because my best friend always smells like vanilla. I'm trying to think. I don't even know the last time I baked an apple crisp. I do have full intentions today to bake some like little muffins that have apples in them. Definitely like not considered an apple crisp whatsoever. And this is a really cute assumption. Pumpkin bread. My family is huge on pumpkin bread. Totally. For me, I just personally don't have that much sugar, like on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. So when I have something that has a lot of sugar in it, it needs to be 100% worth it because I can taste it right away and my skin will sometimes break out. So I try to steer clear. But the pumpkin bread is saying, the assumption is, I've got my priorities in order energy. You meal prep, you light candles, you have a notes app full of affirmations. This is funny. I don't know. I can't say that that is the case for people that I know who bake pumpkin bread, but it's cute. I hope that you have a notes app full of affirmations because that sounds like really positive in like a really good way to remind yourself that you're worth it. Okay, I am living for this soup assumption. I am always down for soup. I mean, throughout the year, there are certain days where I just want soup. Like, for example, right now, it is pouring right now. This is like cozy soup weather. But even if it's the summer, I still have like these moments where I want soup. And there is this restaurant that I order takeout at sometimes. And sometimes when I get something like, what did I get? I got like drunken chicken parm. So basically, it was chicken parm in vodka sauce. And there was an option for a side salad or soup. And regardless of the time of the year, I will always choose soup. But then every time I placed my order and I got soup as my side, they would call me like a minute later and tell me that they didn't have any soup. And then finally, one of the girls there told me that they don't really make soup in the summer. And I was just so shocked by that. For me, like, I would totally cozy up and have a bowl of soup, like, throughout the year. But for whatever reason, they don't really make soup in the summer, and that made me sad. So as soon as it was officially fall, I ordered it and I put soup as my side, and they didn't call me, which meant that I was going to get my soup. So I was so excited. I think I have to admit that this assumption is right about soup lovers, at least me. So, the soup lovers, the assumption is they're quiet powerhouses. You show up with a thermos and sense of purpose. You're unbothered, hydrated, and probably have a skincare routine that actually works. I think I've been personally victimized by this assumption. Oh my goodness. They know me. So, it's not a thermos, but I always have my Sports Illustrated swimsuit water bottle with me. It's like that massive, humongous water jug. Full disclosure, it usually has Celsius in it. But regardless, I do always have that with me. I don't actually own a thermos. So I can't put soup in a thermos and walk around with it because I don't have one. But wow, this is like, this is me. Oh my goodness. And I do have a skincare routine that actually works. I do. It has to do with eating whole foods, good foods, not fried foods, cutting out sugars, because that's, for me personally, this isn't for everyone, but personally, that's what I have to do to keep my skin clear. And my red light face mask. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put some links in the video description for you because on Instagram I get a lot of questions about my skincare routine. And I have to admit, I feel like it is actually very simple in the sense of there's not that many steps to it. It's more just a matter of using what works for me. But anyway, I'll link those for you. And if you aren't watching it on YouTube or don't want to go there, you can always find it on my Instagram at the Banannie Diaries. When it comes to fall foods, though, regardless of what those assumptions said, they're just assumptions. So if that's not you, we love you anyway. You can love all of those food and still be chaos. You can love all of those food and literally have your life put together. Fall is fall and enjoy it as you choose to. Full disclosure, I did semi-bulldoze through portion 1 and portion 2 because I really wanted to get to number 3. And actually 3 is my lucky number. That was not done on purpose. Halloween costumes and character energy. Okay, first of all, maybe it's the dancer in me. I love getting dressed up. I love like costumes. I love dance costumes. I just love getting like made up for glam. Not every day, but I have my moments where I'm just like all about it. This always makes me think of that scene from Mean Girls where they're talking about Halloween costumes and they say how it's like the one time of the year that a girl can dress like a total slut and everybody's okay with it. Uh, I don't even know. I might have to bleep that out. I don't know. Can I say slut? I just said it again. I find that movie so funny, first of all, but I don't think that you should be labeled as a slut if you are getting like all dolled up for Halloween. Absolutely not. Own it, queen. You do you and wear whatever you want to wear. Like, I'm clapping for you. Let's go through some common assumptions about getting dressed up for Halloween and different costumes, and maybe why in the world are people judging us for wearing so little on Halloween? I mean, or any day of the year. You do you, boo-boo. All right, common assumptions. She's doing it for attention. I think she's doing it because she's confident, she loves herself, and she's creative. Mic drop. Next assumption, I don't like this. She's not classy or doesn't respect herself. I think that being yourself is honestly one of the best ways you can respect yourself. I think you need to just be yourself unapologetically. Yeah, every now and then we say silly things, or maybe like a mistake has been made, but give me a break. If you haven't made a mistake, like, come on. I don't want to hear it. I think that honestly, like, doing what you want, dressing the way you want, it's empowering. And I think that it is fully a sign of self-respect. She's trying too hard to impress guys. I don't think that's the case at all. There are so many like memes and comments about like, we're not dressing up for guys, we're dressing up for compliments in like the girls' bathroom. Or again, it's just a concept that like you're dressing up for yourself because you want to. When I put this outfit on today, it was because I was literally so excited to put on this Dolly Parton and Good American rhinestone vest. And I was like, all right, we are doing a brunette Dolly Parton vibe. Like, I am all about this. I didn't put this on for anyone. So if you're watching this and you thought that I got dressed up for you, I'm so sorry. I totally didn't. Everybody's, well, not everybody. Most people are dressing for themselves, especially nowadays, because we can and we want to. And there's really no other explanation that you need. Next assumption. Ugh. She can't possibly be smart, ambitious, or serious if she shows skin. Ugh, give me a break. I don't even think I need to explain that one. That assumption is just so absolutely ridiculous. Like, don't make me whip out my grades. Don't make me whip out my GPA. I don't want to hear it. I love all of my smart, ambitious girls. It also, I don't know, for some reason, that assumption like led me right to Legally Blonde because I love Elle Woods. She's not celebrating Halloween, quote unquote, right. It's supposed to be scary, not sexy. That is so silly. First of all, I don't like anything scary whatsoever. So if it was supposed to be scary, I would never be celebrating Halloween. This actually did, though, kind of pop something into my head. When we were little, my best friend dressed up as Ariel from The Little Mermaid. She put vampire fangs in, and she walked around at school dressed up as a beautiful princess with the wig and everything for the red hair. But literally, when you saw her turn around, she had these freaking vampire fangs hanging out of her mouth, and I love her so much. Next, she's asking for comments or judgment. Not really. I mean, maybe, but not really. Mm-mm. Sometimes I really don't care what you have to say. I'm smiling now. She only picked that outfit because she wants validation. I mean, I'm sure in some cases, yes, this is true, but it's 2025. We don't need your validation. We can wear whatever we want. And the last one, she must be shallow or basic. I think that reminds me very similar of the one about saying that like if we dress like this, we're not smart. No. Mm-mm. I don't know. I think that when you look at like an outfit, like what these assumptions are referring to, right? Like there's nothing basic about them. And if someone dresses like this, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that they're shallow. To call someone shallow because they're wearing like a very hot or sexy or revealing Halloween costume is absolutely ridiculous. Says more about you for calling someone shallow than it does about the person who's actually dressed up. Let's go through some of, I know I gave like my own idea of what I thought about those assumptions, but let's go through the, again, quote unquote reality of these assumptions. Maybe this isn't your reality or it's not the reality of someone you know, but let's go through it. She's embracing confidence, right? Claps to you, queen, or whoever you're dressing up as. If you're feeling confident, like go for it. Halloween is literally about becoming whoever you want. Now, there's something that like I have in my mindset about this because yes, I'm big on self-love, like you need to love yourself and everything like that, but there is something to be said like as a professional ballroom dancer, the way that I get dressed up in my makeup and the spray tan and everything, like it does not necessarily look like me as I'm sitting here right now. Or like definitely for sure like when I'm in my pajamas, right? Like that's not the reality of what my everyday look is. Okay? So when it comes to this phrase about becoming whoever you want, I love that every now and then I get to put on that dress. I get to get the tan. I get to do my makeup. My hair is hard as a rock, shellac to my head. Like, I love those days. And they don't happen all the time, and they don't have to happen all the time. And just because I love them doesn't mean I don't love the everyday version of myself. And I think that that's something that is very important on Halloween when sometimes maybe people feel that they need permission to become someone else for a night, or they need someone to say it's okay that they can get dressed up and not even look like themselves at all. I think it's really exciting and I think it's empowering, and it brings a little spark out in people that maybe they're just not comfortable showing in their everyday life. But for this one night, they get to enjoy what that spark is. I'm so excited for you just talking about it. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. Become whoever you want, be whoever you want. I don't care. I'm not judging you. I want you to be happy. In a safe way, of course. Please. Dressing up slutty doesn't cancel out your depth, your goals, or your morals. And that is so true. And again, like the assumption is using the word slut or slutty, but obviously, like, dress how you want to dress. People are going to say what they're going to say, but I think you're hot. I think you're gorgeous. You do you, boo boo. Hot Girl Halloween is for self expression. I love that. Hot Girl Halloween. If you've been on Instagram, you saw maybe that cat suit from Victoria's Secret. If that doesn't scream Hot Girl Halloween, I don't know what does. I'm not gonna lie though, I am really obsessed with that cat suit and would wear it any day of my life, not just for Halloween. Let's just discuss for a moment, right? When you're out and when you see people getting dressed up, or maybe you're scrolling on social media and you see people getting dressed up, try not to judge them. Try not to pass judgment. Um, I think something, again, and it goes along with, making assumptions, is that it says more about you than that person. So if you're there judging them for wearing what they want to wear, or if you hear someone talking about one of your friends and what they're wearing, it says more about that person already because they're doing it. And there's really like no reason to stoop to that level. So I just feel like it's a good reminder when you're out not to judge anyone else. And if you feel maybe like you find yourself comparing yourself to other girls, or like maybe your outfit is very reserved, like that is 100% okay too. Like, you need to wear what you want to wear, but try your best not to find yourself judging others. And again, this goes back to our episode about comparison. You're on your path, they're on their own path. So try your best not to pass judgment, because everyone is just doing their best, right? Your version of what your best is might not be the same for someone else, and that's okay. So, a friendly Halloween reminder: be kind, and if you have something that is not nice to say, maybe just don't say it. All right, our last portion for today is fall parties and the pressure to be aesthetic. I think that when it comes to being aesthetic, you need to have your own. You don't necessarily have to be chasing the same aesthetic that other people are chasing, right? If you go on my feed on Instagram, I really don't post like decorations for any holidays or like anything like that. It's just not really my vibe. Like, yes, I have a pumpkin, right, for Halloween, but it was a pumpkin that someone gave me because they grew so many pumpkins. They had extra pumpkins, and when they gave it to me, it was green. Anyway, it didn't really look like a pumpkin, but now it's orange. But again, like, the idea is just that just because other people are posting it or other people are doing that, like, you don't have to. I'm saying this because if you feel like you don't fit in a certain aesthetic, that's okay, because maybe the aesthetic isn't something that you're like meant to join in on, if that makes sense. So I'm coming from a point of being someone who has been in a lot of environments where I like really feel strongly that I don't fit in with these people, or I don't fit in with this environment. Like, it's okay to walk away from it, or it's okay to not have that in your life. And I just feel like that's something that I wish like younger me had known, which is why I feel like I want to say this to you. Because if you truly feel like you're not fitting in, or you have to act a certain way, or you need to dress a certain way, or live your life a certain way just to fit in with these people, maybe just consider for a second that they might not be your people, and maybe the universe has other plans for you and you're not supposed to be fitting in. So I think that that's something to think about. I'm talking about this because you're not gonna find like pumpkins and aesthetic-y things like that on my page, because in my real life I don't really do that. The like Christmas is probably where you would find me maybe decorating the most, and by the most I say like my participation in decorating a Christmas tree. Um but yeah, I think that that's kind of why I also want to like point that out, is that if you're having a party, it can literally like just be a cute little gathering with your friends. Like, you can do your usual. It doesn't have to be like all out decorated and this massive thing. It can just be like a tiny little gathering. And if it doesn't look like what it looks like on social media, that's okay. You need to do what you want to do, because again, it's your life, your journey. So I think that when it comes for like this pressure to be aesthetic, you need to decide if that's what you want to chase. Like, do you want to be always doing and participating in the aesthetics that start trending, or do you just want your own all the time? And no judgment from me. I don't care what you choose to do. Um, I think my perspective on this is that if you go to my page, it says being yourself is greater than any aesthetic, because that's how I feel about it. I will not do aesthetics just because they're trending. Like, I will not go out and buy a whole new wardrobe because a certain designer or like a certain trend is happening in the moment. And again, that's just me. That's because I'm trying to do everything that's genuine to me all the time. So when it comes to feeling pressure to be aesthetic, I personally will encourage you to be yourself instead of trying to be something that maybe you're not, but the internet wants you to be. That's all. As you can see from today's episode, even the changing of the seasons comes with different assumptions. So, we tackled some assumptions on drinks, on foods, and my main focus was on Halloween costumes. At the end of the day, you need to wear what you want to wear, or maybe you don't even celebrate Halloween and you're going to do your usual routines, and that's okay too. Today's episode was also here to inspire you to be yourself and keep doing the things that make you authentically you. For next week, I'm actually not announcing the theme. I have some exciting things happening in the mix. So I want to save it as a surprise. But as always, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy that you're here, whether you're an OG from the beginning or you're just tuning in now. Thank you so much for checking out. She's probably talking to other guys, and I hope that you'll tune in every week.